Yo, my dude. Okay, I'm just saying it again on the record just to make sure that you actually, well, that you get acknowledged. Mr. Rob Cabre Jr., I am definitely saying hi to you because you're also saying hi to me. You definitely deserves that. You definitely deserve that much. Now I'm just gonna change around. I am going to keep doing reactions, right? So I will change out. I will change up the values of everything. Okay, I will change up the values of everything because I am doing that thing. I am currently live right now, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run out the actual thing to. Okay, currently doing reactions. Okay, I'm just making sure I write it. Okay, currently doing reactions to flood control. Okay, yeah. It's still on people and blogs. Yeah, okay, good. Right, we are gonna get back into making sure there are flood control projects. But before doing that, let me just. I am just going to queue onto CapCut the actual thing. Okay. By the way, I'm just going to check. Is the second flood control project's pH controversy? Basically, I'm going to make it episodic, and I'm going to have them premiere once a day on a certain day, in October. It will not be. It will the actual exclusive videos of my reactions will not be seen until October. Probably October 1 or October 2, probably, because I'd probably be able to finish the playlist by then. But of course, assuming that I don't rant a little too much. Okay, flood control Philippines. I will still do this. But I will keep the videos relevant to today, which is good. It's already there. This guy has submit evidence to the OJ. Okay, it's already there. So let's try by hour. If it's last hour, relevant last hour. Oh, 22 minutes ago. That's from Gina Life. Okay. I'm going to watch that because even if that's a short, I'm going to watch that. No long ones, say that in the media for the soul. That's AI shit, dude. I'm not gonna react to that. Seriously, no. I've had enough of that thing. Seriously, I've had enough of the thing. I am now going to do part three because I'm just going to start rendering part three, but I will make absolutely sure that things are looking up on whatever it's looking up on. Part three, right? Give me a moment here. I'll just handle stuff. Okay, I finally got what I need to. I finally made sure that that CapCut is doing what it should. It's necessary already. So I'm going to be. I'm only going to be removing the pauses from the entire thing, and that's actually going to help. So I am going to look at this playlist again, and it's unlisted at the moment. So in case that you want to find it, it won't be around because it's only in reference because it's there only as reference because I am watching. I am watching videos from it. I'm not exactly the type to share. Besides, not everything from here is going to be left after the entire thing. After we finish off all the videos. By the way, all the videos that I'm watching on flood control projects that are around YouTube, I am filtering the ones that are not past 4 minutes. So if you guys are looking for it, you won't be able to find it. But basically, yeah, I am just going to queue. I'm just going to queue this videos on my watching video right now. Okay, 3, 4. It's per 5, I guess. You can do that. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. I can go for a fifth. It's fine. Okay, then. Here we go. The first video that we're going to be watching, since we're already back into reactions right now, first that we're going to be reacting to is Ombudsman suspends 16 Department of Public Works and Highways personnel over 389.6 million Philippine peso flood control projects. This was published from Inquirer.net. It garnered 1.8 thousand views, 1,800 views at least, and this was streamed 9 days ago. So basically, this was streamed 9 days ago. All right, we are not. I'm definitely still not going to show the footage. Definitely, I do not want to get hit with copyright strikes here. Come on.
The Office of the Ombudsman is ordering the preventive suspension of 16 personnel from the Department of Public Works and Highways, Bulacan 1st District Engineering Office. The suspension is in connection with alleged ghost flood control projects worth 389.6 million pesos. Acting Ombudsman Dante F. Vargas issues the suspension effective Thursday, September 18. In a statement on Friday,
16.
September 19,
16 public works
control projects in
personnel.
question are being tagged as ghost or graft-ridden projects.
Shit,
It
dude.
cites the alleged lack of necessary supporting documents, non-existence of any civil works, discrepancies in the pinpointed location, and flawed approved bid plans. The Ombudsman emphasizes that the suspension will prevent personnel from exerting influence over the ongoing investigation and ensure accountability without obstruction. This comes after DPWH Chief Vince Dizon filed criminal complaints against several DPWH personnel. It also follows Commissioner and Audit Chairperson Gamaliel Cordoba's endorsement of additional flood audit reports connected to flood control projects in the municipalities of Plardel, Pandi, and Bukawi. Also on Friday, the DPWH issues a memorandum to implement
Oh my god, construction section chief, planning and design section chief, maintenance section OIC chief, quality section chief, maintenance section OIC chief, administrative section chief, budget unit head, procurement unit head, second cashier, multiple project engineers, and second engineer. Oh my god. They got sacked on this.
preventive suspension against the 16 personnel from Bulacan 1st District Engineering Office. According to the DPWH, the preventive suspension against former Bulacan District Engineer Henry Alcantara, his assistant Bryce Hernandez, construction unit head JP Mendoza, and accountant Juanito Mendoza are deemed moot since they have already been dismissed from service. Contractors Curly and Sara Discaya meet with Justice Secretary Boying Remulla to talk about the couple's application for the witness protection program.
Yep. Curly and Sari Discaya, considering that they got implicated highly, decide to start cooperating with the Department of Justice. You know why? The more they deny, the more they deny all the allegations that are being pointed at them, the more they make themselves a target. And yes, it is absolutely deserved. They are running scared, so they finally caved in and they're cooperating with the Department of Justice. They want to just be witness. They just want to be on witness protection. So basically, are they still going to face accountability? They absolutely should. They absolutely should. They stole taxpayer money to live a lavish lifestyle. It was televised, for Pete's sake. It was televised. Bro, are you fucking for real? It was televised. They should be part of the criminal. They should be part of the criminal list. But of course, they're getting way too many death threats, and it's getting to them. They're now turning to the Department of Justice for protection because of the numerous threats they're probably receiving right now. And let me just be real, again, they deserved it. They are, everyone from the public who has had losses because of these floods are absolutely pissed off at any politician who even has remotely anything to do, any hand in it at all. Basically, any sort of participation, any sort of knowledge. They want to make sure all of them are, all these politicians and all these who actually misuse the funds get ripped apart. This is why Curly and Sara are running absolutely scared now. They have no choice but to cooperate. And they should cooperate. They're considered criminals, but they are criminals who deserve to speak out. And considering that they are now running to DOJ, they are speaking out now. They have to. It helps them more. It might imprison them for a very long time, for a very long time, but at least they prioritize their health. Good for them, at least.
According to Department of Justice spokesperson Miko Clavano, Remulla and Discaya's meeting is aimed at determining whether the couple needed to enroll in the Witness Protection Program. Being a protected witness under the Witness Protection Program is different from being a state witness. The Witness Protection Program refers to the program ensuring the security of a witness, while a state witness refers to an individual who needs to be discharged by a court to testify against their co-accused. The Discayas are two construction company owners who were allegedly involved in anomalous flood control projects across the country. Two of their companies are among the top 15 firms that bagged the bulk of flood control deals nationwide in just 3 years. The couple is requesting protection due to alleged threats to their safety after name-dropping several lawmakers in the corruption scheme in which they were allegedly involved. Motorists may have to brace for yet another round of fuel price hikes on Tuesday, September 23. In an advisory on Friday, September 19, Jetty Petroleum President Leo Bellas says gasoline prices may go up by 1 peso to 1 peso and 20 centavos a liter. Bellas also sees diesel prices jumping by 60 centavos to 80 centavos a liter. Department of Energy estimates also show upward adjustments. Gasoline is tipped to pose the biggest hike at more or less 70 centavos per liter.
The gas prices have always anything to do when it comes to economical changes in different parts of the world, or if there are conflicts. So the rise and fall of gas prices definitely are being influenced by very, very big events happening around the world. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine absolutely play a big part of it, because Russia produces oil. A part of the production of oil comes from Russia. So, yes, there is definitely Russia's involvement in a conflict does play a role with how oil prices move.
The prices of diesel also increased by around 35 centavos per liter, while kerosene may rise by 65 centavos per liter. If implemented on Tuesday, the changes will mark the 6th consecutive week of gasoline price hikes and the 5th for diesel. Both Bellas and the DOE cite persistent geopolitical conflict that continues to impact global oil prices.
That's it for this video. Okay, that's cool. All right, that's from Inquirer.net. The next one that we're watching, Singson. Singson, spelled Singson. That's not Chavit Singson, I'm sure. But anyway, Singson, part of the ICI, if I'm right. Yeah, he is one of the names I heard from the ICI on the independent probe for flood control. Anyway, he strikes flood control projects in Ilocos Norte, questions Marcos. Okay. This is from the Manila Times, by the way, which garnered 2,500 views, and this was published 8 days ago.
Former Ilocos Sur Governor Luis Chavit Singson.
Oh, it is Chavit Singson. Okay.
Accused favored contractors in Ilocos Norte of amassing billions in questionable flood control projects.
It's not just those contractors, Chavit. It's multiple contractors around in the Philippines, okay? It's not just Ilocos Norte.
He questioned how President Marcos could deny knowledge of the deals since they were undertaken in his home province. At a press conference, Singson presented the names of firms he said were behind the anomalies.
Are there biases here? I don't want to take Singson's word entirely, but that's a big accusation. This is a big accusation.
Former governor said corruption.
You're suggesting the president is hiding something out in Ilocos Norte. That's a very big accusation. You have got to be ready to back that shit up, bro.
The names of firms he said were behind the anomalies. The former governor said corruption in flood works was widespread. Singson also questioned the sincerity of ongoing investigations, but he expressed support for the Independent Commission on Infrastructure. He described its members as good people.
Well, at least you care about the integrity. At least you care about the integrity of infrastructure projects, Singson. Oh God. My father always told me that Singson's not to be trusted, and it's always an attention-grabbing politician. I have got to research a bit more as to how Singson became that way. But yeah, I don't know everything about that I need to know about Mr. Chavit Singson. Next video we got on the list is titled Philippines Faces Nationwide Protest Over Flood Graft. This is coming from the channel Dawn News English, and this video was published 7 days ago. It garnered up to 42,000 views.
Rallies are set to sweep the Philippines on Sunday as tens of thousands take to the streets.
Philippines. I know you're speaking English, but know the pronunciations of some countries at least. Anyway, let's keep it going.
To protest what organizers describe as entrenched corruption in government. Demonstration could be largest since July when reports of massive graft and flood control projects surfaced.
Fury over corruption and nepo babies as floods paralyze Philippines.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. acknowledged at the time that many of the projects had become sources of kickbacks, sparking a nationwide crackdown. Marcos has since established an independent body to investigate how much money was siphoned off from state coffers. Earlier this month, he said flood control projects would be excluded from the 2026 budget. Authorities have frozen hundreds.
Yep, that's a good thing at least of what he's doing. He freezes he freezes all funding for flood control projects that might potentially go worse places than just a casino. I picked that wording correctly. Most of the money had gone to a casino, which is disgusting. With what a corrupt DPWH official can do. So disgusting.
Marcos' cousin resigned
This steps down as Philippines Congress Speaker. Marcos Jr.'s cousin steps down as Philippines Congress Speaker Romualdez. My mom told me that Romualdez was a cousin of Marcos Jr. Okay. Now he steps down as Congress Speaker amid fake flood control projects probe. Deserved, unfortunately.
amid allegations of involvement, charges he denies. Organizers expect about 30,000 protesters near the country's main highway, with more rallies planned in Manila's public parks and across the archipelago. Police have mobilized
Archipelago. But anyway, fine.
over 50,000 officers nationwide and placed all units on full alert. The Catholic Bishops' Conference of Philippines has urged participation, framing the rallies as defense of democracy. Our purpose is not to destabilize but to strengthen our democracy, it said. The protest came against a backdrop of unrest in Asia. Indonesia recently saw violent demonstrations.
Oh yeah, the demonstrations on Indonesia were definitely so much more notable than that of the Philippines because the graft and corruption in regards to actually increasing the budget, the actual salaries of the politicians, it angered the most sane people who are working hard to live their lives by themselves there. Indonesia should be in a better position at the moment if not for these absolutely disgusting politicians who kept their office positions in the hopes that they would have their salaries increased and the taxpayers' money taken away. It should have gone to better places instead of just to the pockets of corrupted politicians. Really, that's not the way to go.
After a 21-year-old delivery driver was killed by a police vehicle, while in Nepal, youth-led protests forced top leaders to resign. So far, Philippines' financial markets have remained steady, with the peso holding firm and Manila's stock index climbing nearly 2% this month. But analysts warned that prolonged unrest could change that. The U.S. Embassy in Manila
Prolonged unrest could lower the Philippine currency, and any businesses that are very much dependent on the Philippine economy. Their stocks would crash the longer these protests occur. I think that's actually part of the plan there, to make sure that the Philippine economy crashes because of the anger of the people.
has advised its citizens to avoid the protests, citing the potential for violence.
It didn't get any worse in the Philippines, but it could have gone worse. Honestly, this is really sad. This is really just absolutely sad. It's just, dude, if only these officials did not gamble away the funding that was supposed to be for better purposes. It's just, I don't know what the heck is in their mind. Probably everything that is never any good. God damn it. We are back in the reaction folds. Right now, the playlist, the unlisted playlist right now, the flood control projects, we're back in it. I added a few videos. There are only shorts. We're gonna get right back into it. All right, we're gonna get right back into it, and we're not gonna look back. Let's just go for it. Next video that we have right now is titled "Ex-DPWH Engineer Hernandez," or should we say Bryce Hernandez, the whistleblower, is out of Senate to gather flood control mess evidence. This has been published by GMA Integrated News, and this garnered 43,000 views, published 8 days ago. This has been aired on 24 Oras Weekend. So, yeah.
Umuwi sa Bulacan si dating DPWH Bulacan Assistant District Engineer Bryce Hernandez para makakuha ng dagdag na ebidensya para sa investigasyon ng Senate Blue Ribbon Committee. Nakatutok si Darlene Kai.
Pasado alas 7 ng umaga kanina umalis sa Senado ang convoy, lulan si dating DPWH Bulacan Assistant District Engineer Bryce Hernandez. Pinayagan siyang umuwi sa Bulacan ngayong araw para mangalap ng dagdag na ebidensya kaugnay sa ginagawang investigasyon ng Senate Blue Ribbon Committee sa maanumalyang flood control projects. Mahigpit ang seguridad sa kalye kung nasaan ang bahay ni Hernandez. May nakapwesto mga pulis at kawani ng barangay na nag-check sa bawat pumapasok. Sa isang mensahe, kinumpirma ni Senate President Tito Soto ang anyay heavily guarded o bantay saradong pag-uwi ni Hernandez.
Yes, natuloy po siya, and as we speak, andun po siya ngayon, naghahanap ng mga ebidensya. I don't want to preempt anything muna. Gusto ko manggaling po kay Bryce kung anong ebidensya po mahanap niya.
Yeah, exactly.
Once na nakuha namin, nakolate po namin, and at the right forum, we will divulge.
He was at some extent involved in the mess, but he chose to stop participating as soon as it got absolutely hot, and it would actually be jeopardizing to him. Absolutely. And that's when he went whistleblower, to make absolutely sure that he doesn't get highly implicated on this. He didn't know the extent entirely of the corruption until it was too late, and he actually just went out. He's not a hero, but at the same time, he is just looking out for himself. I don't see him as a backstabber at the moment, but we'll see what happens next on the succeeding hearings.
Vehicles ni Hernandez sa ICI o Independent Commission on Infrastructure
So 2 of the luxury vehicles that he has, he had plans to actually get them surrendered to the independent probe. So okay.
Tapos ang pagsauli niya ng isang sasakyan kahapon.
Because it's the right thing to do. We just don't know exactly when, but I think the only thing that's preventing him from doing so are logistical problems.
Patuloy raw makikipagtulungan si Hernandez sa mga investigasyon sa maanumalyang flood control projects. Pero hindi sila kontento sa naging takbo ng mga pagdinig sa
To
Senado.
the Senate, ready to reveal what he knew. And yet, he was never given an opportunity. May mga questions yan. Yes or no lang ang pinapasagot pero he would want to explain why this happened. Unfortunately, parang hindi po nangyari yun.
Alas 6 ng umaga hanggang alas 6 ng gabi ang ibinigay na oras kay Hernandez. Pagkatapos nito, sabi ni Blue Ribbon Committee Chairman Senator Ping Lacson, kailangan niyang bumalik sa Senado kung saan siya nakadetain mula ng makontempt. Para sa GMA Integrated News,
Okay, then.
nakatutok 24 oras.
Poor guy. He's just trying to redeem himself. He's just trying to redeem himself. He's being grilled to the point that he is forced to really just get on his knees so that he could just speak up. There should be a chance for him to give his side without getting grilled so much within the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee. At least he's got a chance to redeem himself, right? I guess all they had to do is see undoubtable evidence that he is trying to redeem himself. Next video, thousands protest in Philippines against flood control fraud. I believe this is this is not exactly a short, but this is lengthened at 1 minute 11 seconds. This is from Al Jazeera English, and this video had garnered 33,000 views, published 7 days ago. Thousands protest in the Philippines against flood control fraud. If you actually want to view the videos yourself, you can. I'm just only exposing I'm just only letting the audio be heard fine, but not video. Basically, this is the protests that forced cops to use riot shields to cover their heads. And they are in groups to make sure that the bodies around them are also shielded from the stones being thrown at them. Damn.
People are very angry because they have been victims of flooding for all these years. And flooding has made their lives so difficult. And yet the discovery that all the billions of pesos that were supposed to help them, that was supposed to solve the problem, have ended up lining the pockets of all these corrupt politicians, government officials, and contractors.
Masama po sa loob na kami po yung naghihirap, kami po yung nawawalan ng tirahan, ng buhay, ng kinabukasan, tapos sila po yung limpak-limpak na kumikita.
Yeah, officials and politicians, and that people are losing their lives just because they keep claiming the money. It's just, yeah.
Buwis na binabayad namin yung
The taxes that we pay for, they go just right to their pockets. It really pisses the common person off, dude.
pagura na magulang namin na pupunta lang sa kanila, sa mga luxury cars nila, sa pag-travel nila sa ibang mga bansa, at sa pakikipagsosyo nila sa iba't ibang mga korporasyon.
Yep, this is a real doozy. People are still angry. People are still absolutely angry about it. Next video we have on our list, thousands gather in Manila to protest against flood control scandal. This was from 7 days ago from the World is One network, which garnered 38,000 views.
And over to Southeast Asia, shifting focus to Philippines, thousands of protesters clashed with police in Manila.
Menjola, actually. So basically the protest that actually happened a week ago actually branched out. One was peaceful, absolutely peaceful. They were wearing whites. The other that went to Menjola, wearing black, and they were aggressive and angry. This is supposedly the absolute highlight of the protest that have absolutely gone mad.
Protesting against widespread corruption within the government. During a demonstration, protesters were seen hurling stones at the cops deployed at the site and burning tires. In a violent outburst, the scene quickly grew tense as a section of young protesters planned to hold their program in front of the presidential palace, but were barred by the police to do so. Several protesters were also arrested on spot.
Marcos Jr. orders probe into protests. Sure, the anti-corruption protests are something, but at least it's a violent outburst. The parts of the violent outbursts, though, the probe can at least be ordered to those ones. Fine.
Organizers say more than 30,000 people are expected to join a rally near the main highway in the capital, the site of a largely non-violent revolution in 1986. Simultaneously, protests have also broken out in other places across the country. The rallies appear to be the biggest and the boldest since President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said back in July that some government flood control projects had become a source of kickbacks. Marcos Jr. has reportedly supported these protests and has ordered an independent probe into the alleged anomalies in the infrastructure projects.
Yep.
Interesting to note here, of course, is that these protests coincide with the 1972 anniversary of the martial law declaration by Marcos.
By the way, the World is One network has garnered over 10 million subscribers. It gives a unique perspective into world events. Basically, they've done a good job in which they actually give details to different things. So thank goodness. This is Indian, by the way. World is One network is displayed as WION. If you're actually looking for it, it's not hard to find it. Actually, it'll be better if I give you guys the QR code for this, if you guys like to actually have an easier time in finding it yourselves. Because if there's anything if there's anything related to unique perspectives, take it from the Indians, who actually have some significant words to actually say about different things. Whether you like them or not, they are to absolutely be very much taken in with a lot of salt. Well, actually, it's not a lot of salt. Not a grain of salt. You take their words good. Try to be a center-leaning observer as much as possible. So basically, QR codes right here. The World is One Network YouTube channel. Go right for it. I recommend that you really just check it out. Anyway, continuing the video.
Here, of course, is that these protests coincide with the 1972 anniversary of the martial law declaration by Marcos Sr.
Yeah, considering that the People Power Revolution anniversary also reminded people that the absolute reason that there are protests like that were happening back then, decades ago, is because of massive graft and corruption that absolutely defined a presidency and angered a people. Marcos Sr. absolutely garnered way too much anger in his time. Way too much anger, to the point that he would actually garner too much. He would declare martial law. Of course, it did lower crime rates, sure. The problem is the freedom of assembly has also been denied. Many people took a lot of offense to this. A lot of offense. But the very suspicious reasons as to why Marcos is hated, the very suspicious things as to why Marcos is hated back then, during his time, before and during martial law, the funding that he had for infrastructure projects did not come, allegedly, from just the taxpayers. They also came from stolen treasures. That's only an allegation, but it was not entirely proven yet. Okay? Just making sure that you guys are aware. There are just two sides to the story. I wish to be objective. I wish to make sure that these are actually debunked. All bad theories debunked. We need to separate theory from what's reality here. Back to modern times.
We are here to remind our people that during the anniversary of martial law was not just about authoritarian rule. Martial law enabled the plunder of our nation's wealth. Unfortunately, authoritarianism and plunder continue to plague our country. So we are here to demand action from the government. We are here to demand accountability against corrupt officials in the government.
Corruption has been a long-standing issue in the Southeast Asian nation, but in the recent months, allegations of government mismanagement have come to renewed focus, especially during the monsoon season, when several towns and cities were inundated despite over $9.54 billion being spent on flood control since 2022.
Yeah.
Citizens are now demanding answers to how exactly the state programs were devised for public welfare when many of their own suffered from storms and floods. In one of the world's most disaster-prone nations, reportedly, concerns of vast inequality between the classes were also being raised.
I feel bad that we wallow in poverty. We lose our homes, our lives, and our future, while they rake in a big fortune from our taxes that pay for their luxury cars, foreign trips, and bigger corporate transactions.
And for further context here, the Manila protests also come at a time of growing unrest across Southeast Asia, ranging from the deadly Gen Z protests in Nepal to demonstrations in Indonesia with the death of a 21-year-old motorcycle taxi driver.
The Luffy pirates have intervened in Indonesia and Nepal. Unfortunately, it became really messy in the Philippines, though.
In Jakarta, who was run over by a police vehicle just last month.
Anti-corruption, anti-graft, anti-corruption protests like this, it makes sense. But they get messy, like I said. The Star also had published a video 7 days ago which garnered 12,000 views, titled "Thousands Join Protests Against Corruption in the Philippines." We're going to keep on listening and watching over these protests because they are a big factor as to why the Philippines is being frowned upon sometimes.
Thousands of people had gathered at a public park in Manila on Sunday to protest against alleged corruption in the government's infrastructure projects. Allegations of mismanagement in the government.
It's only been a week.
Have drawn
It's only been a week since this protest happened, and
flooding during
it's
the monsoon season.
it's getting a lot of attention. It was getting a lot of attention.
Billion pesos.
It's still a factor of attention
spent since 20
on the entire week. So
The protest
yeah.
also fell on the anniversary of former dictator Ferdinand Marcos Sr.'s 1972 declaration of martial law.
The people are very angry because they have been victims of flooding for all these years. And flooding has made their lives so difficult. And yet the discovery that all the billions of pesos that were supposed to help them, that was supposed to solve the problem, have ended up lining the pockets of all these corrupt politicians, government officials, and contractors.
Martial law enabled the plunder of our
Ted Casino and Mong Palatino were heads of these protests. Were two of the heads of these protests. So yeah.
nation's wealth. Unfortunately, authoritarianism and plunder continue to plague our country. So we are here to demand action from the government. We are here to demand accountability against corrupt officials in the government.
The protesters also clashed with police during the rally, throwing stones and burning tires after being barred from holding their program in front of the presidential palace.
I am going to remove some videos from the playlist because basically, yeah, I think we all know that the protests really made us look into a lot of the flood control problems. Flood control problems that were contributed from the graft and corruption that we're seeing over and over again, but it has been made apparent, so much more apparent now that considering that Marcos had spoke out since July. So yeah, the snowball kept rolling, and eventually all of this spiraled into what it is today. Next video we have comes from GMA Integrated News, and this video garnered 42,000 views, published 5 days ago, and it's titled "Lacson and Marcoleta got into a tiff at the start of flood control probe," from GMA Integrated News. Let me just tell you, my mother made it clear that Marcoleta, who is in the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, is apparently one of the opposition party members who do not particularly favor Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s policies. So, opposition party. Marcoleta is opposition, but he still is allowed to give inputs, considering he's got things to say, all considering. He is a Rodrigo Duterte supporter, right from the get-go, as a politician. All right?
Mas credible si Bryce kesa Vizcaya. Bakit ganon? Why are we trying to prejudge this? Mr. President, we are still in the process of investigation. If we are in the process of investigation, why are you so protective? I am not protecting them. Mabuti sinabi mo yan, Mr. Chair. Pwede ba nating i-record ito? Palagi niyong sinasabi, I am protective of the Vizcaya. When I was chairman of this committee, sinabi ko na sa inyo, the only remedy provided under the law is for them to apply if they qualify under the process of witness protection program. That's all what I did.
Session is resumed. Session is resumed. Mr. Alcantara, you proceed.
I am questioning the proceedings, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Alcantara, you proceed.
Oh my God. This is just in relation to the... Hold on. I think this is just related to the state witness. The credibility of the state witness because of the whistleblower. It's just a stint between Marcoleta and Lacson because Lacson is governmental, while in political leanings, Lacson, Pan-Philippine Lacson is governmental, while Marcoleta is opposition to the president. Basically, those are the political leanings here. The two were discussing about state witness credibility over one who is over another who is considered suspicious. Basically, Alcantara being a more credible source than Vizcaya, who is one of the contractor heads. Basically, that's what we're talking about. That's what they're talking about here. Anyway, I don't want to get too much into the detail of this, but basically the two were in the main argument as to who is more credible than the other. The next video that we are going to watch comes from Philstar News, and this video garnered 19,000 views, published 5 days ago. And this is titled Bong Revilla has claimed 300 million pesos from flood control projects. And this was stated by Henry Alcantara himself, who was former DPWH.
Una ko nakilala si Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo.
Roberto Bernardo has been sacked, by the way. He was former undersecretary. He was former undersecretary of DPWH.
Nagkasama kami sa Laguna. Na-promote siya ng nag-promote siya hanggang undersecretary. Si Yusek Bernardo ang tumulong sa akin para may talaga ako bilang district engineer sa Bulacan First DO.
This is Henry Alcantara's voice, by the way.
2019, panawan ng secretary ng DPWH si Secretary Mark Villar.
Basically, what he's saying is that Undersecretary Bernardo has been abusing. Basically, what he's been doing is promoting to get people to involved in projects. He's fast-tracking promotions. He was fast-tracking promotions left and right.
Nung panahon na yun, ang tanda ko po, Undersecretary for Operations sa Visayas, si Yusek Bernardo. Taong 2022, na magsimulang magbaba ng pondo sa aking DO, si Yusek Bernardo, ang kasunduan ay 25% para sa proponent. Ang proyekto ayon kay Yusek Bernardo, ang kabuuan ng mga proyektong naibaba ni Yusek Bernardo sa aking DO ay nagkakalaga ng 350 million na sumusunod. Nandito po. Noong 2023, ang kabuuan ng mga proyekto na ibaba ni Yusek Bernardo sa aking DO ay halagang 710 million. Mula sa halagang ito, 450 million ang pumasok sa NEP, 260 naman po ang sa GAA. Ang para sa proponent, 25% po, at may advance ito na 5 to 15 na kalimitang hinihingi ni Yusek Bernardo kapag ganap na ang NEP base sa pagdinig sa Kamera de Representante.
You read what's in the sworn statement. At least Alcantara is taking steps to make sure that he cooperates. He is basically stating percentages here. And if these percentages are accurate, Bong Revilla is a massive piece of shit. If this is proven to be true, Bong Revilla is a massive piece of shit.
Samantala ang pondong ng BICAM ay may advance payment na 5 to 10. Nakalimitang hinihingi matapos ang deliberasyon ng BICAM at ang balansa ay babayaran pagbuo paglabas ng GAA. Ang detalye ng mga proyekto ay nandito po. Noong taong 2024, may kabuuang pondo na 3.3 billion, 150 sa NEP, 300 million sa GAA, 2.85 sa UA. Nung naipababa ni Yusek Bernardo sa aking DO, muling nagpatuloy ang 25% na bayad sa proponent ng mga proyekting ito na binibigay ko kay Yusek Bernardo. Tulad ng 2023, ang usapan ay mayroon ding advance payment, depende na lamang kung ito NEP o GAA. Kaya limitang inutusan ko ang aking driver na dalhin ang proponent kay Yusek Bernardo, minsan po sa parking ng Diamond Hotel. Ang detalye ng NEP 2024 ay mayroong
let's repeat that. Let's rewind a bit more.
advance payment, depende na lamang kung ito NEP o GAA. Kaya limitang inutusan ko ang aking driver na dalhin ang proponent kay Yusek Bernardo, minsan po sa
The proponent, he means Bernardo's cut. The proponent means Bernardo's cut. How is proponent termed in flood control during? We're gonna have to use the free thing. Let me try to play the video further.
NEP 2024 ay may andito po nakasulat po. Ayon kay Yusek Bernardo, ang GAA insertions ng 2024 na magkakalaga ng 300 million na para kay, sabi niya po sa akin, para kay Senator Bong Revilla na noon ay kumandidato bilang senador para sa 2025. Sinabihan ako ni Yusek Bernardo, Henry, kay Sed Bong yan, baka gusto mo tumulong sa kanya. Dagdagan mo ang proponent ko na bahala. Sinabi ko kay Yusek Bernardo, sige po boss, kaya po imbis na 25 ay naging 30 ang naging proponent doon po sa 3 project na nakalagay po dito.
Basically, people get bigger cuts and flood control projects get way too less resources. The massive use of Republic Act number 3019 is going to be, in such situations of whistleblowing and investigation, whistleblowers, perhaps lower-ranking government employees, contractors, or members of the public, might report the activity to the Office of the Ombudsman, which investigates corruption allegations. The Commission on Audit and National Bureau of Investigation could also be involved in probing the misuse of funds. And they're doing shit accordingly. Dude, you can get your cuts as long as it's so small. You don't rip off funds by the millions just because you are involved with the projects and facilitating. Maybe the thousands maybe by the bare thousands, but not by the millions. This is way too much. This is blatant. This is absolutely blatant. You don't. Basically, what you get is not enough. So the solution is for you to take a bigger cut just because you got the authority, and you want to garner something for a. This is not the way to go. If you are in an elevated position, or if you are in a certain seniority position, this is not the way to go.
Ang project, construction of flood control structure along Angat River, Sipat Section Plaridel, construction of flood control structure along Angat River, Lumang Bayan, along Giginto River. Ang total po ay 300 million po. Yun po ay ayon kay Yusek Bernardo. Never ko pong nakakausap si Senator Bong Revilla. Never po. Makikita sa listahan ng mga proyektong galing sa U8 2024 na hindi lamang flood control ang mga proyekto, subalit ang proponent ay naglalaro sa 25 hanggang.
Yeah, he is exposing multiple people here. He is exposing multiple people here. Those who got the cut from facilitating, those who got the kickbacks from being a sponsor. Everyone's getting burned. Everyone. He's doing a good job in cooperating with the Blue Ribbon Committee here. Next is basically, okay, this video comes from DZM Teleradio, and this garnered a whopping 189,000 views, even if this video was published from 5 days ago, and it's titled, NBI, the National Bureau of Investigation, seeks criminal charges versus Villanueva, basically Joel Villanueva, Jinggoy Estrada, basically a lawmaker, a senator, and Representative Zaldico, another lawmaker. No, hold on. Senator. Villanueva is a senator. Yeah, so 2 senators and 1 lawmaker from the House of Representatives. The NBI seeks criminal charges against those 3 in particular in the flood control anomaly. So, yeah, they're basically screwed, and they really gotta they really gotta get their acts together and have them absolutely be under a magnifying glass to get them checked of their lifestyles. Because really, oh boy.
We had the NBI come over, the AMLC, and of course the NPS is housed in the DOJ compound. So we met in room 206 over the affidavit of Mr. Alcantara, and he was there present to answer questions. And we determined that the NBI would be investigating it, and on the outset they recommended the filing of charges already. So we treated this already as a complaint with the NBI as the endorsing agency. And at the same time, we contacted the AMLC and told them, we gave them a digital file of this. Somebody was present already, but there's the same. We gave a digital file to the AMLC, and they already started acting on this because it is already a filed complaint with the Department of Justice. So given that, I believe that freeze orders have been issued already by the AMLC over the bank accounts of many
Against
people.
how many persons and who are they?
Sir, the recommendation of the NBI for prosecution, and probably this is what AMLAC followed, are as follows: for Mr. Alcantara, for Joel Villanueva, Senator Joel Villanueva.
Oh my God.
Jinggoy Ejercito, Congressman Ko, Elizalde Ko.
Oh my God.
Former Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo, and former Congresswoman Mitch Cahayon. And the crimes committed were all specified in the sheet given by the NBI to us. So far, these are the persons, but we are still looking at the case of Commissioner Lipana and his spouse, who was a contractor, since it was already touched upon by Engineer Alcantara, and we're working on that.
By the way, the ones who actually stated who are going to be sought out by the NBI is Mr. Crispin Remula himself, who is actually at the moment right beside Henry Alcantara, who is making absolutely sure he cooperates with the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee. So, yeah.
Thank you very much, sir.
So I submit to you the document given by the NBI and the received copy of the DOJ of the Sinumpang Salaysay.
And the case is what specific crime?
Sir, as to each one, the crimes that violation of Section 3, Republic Act 3019, Article 211 of the Revised Penal Code, indirect bribery, and Article 217 of the Revised Penal Code, malversation of public funds.
Indirect bribery and Malversation. Hold on.
And Article 217 of the Revised Penal Code, malversation of public funds.
Okay. Basically, you misplaced public funds and you were bribing others to actually hide it. None of them are plunder, but still, huge deals. Absolutely huge deals there. Right. The next video comes from GMA Integrated News again. This video garnered 12,000 views, published 5 days ago, and it's titled, well, in Tagalog, it's stated as Pagsira o Pamemeke ng mga dokumento ng DPWH tungkol sa flood control. The destruction and faking of DPWH documents that are about flood control. And this was aired on the program in GMA Integrated News called Balitang Hali.
Kinundila ng Independent Commission for Infrastructure ang malawakan ng manong pagsira at pamimeke.
Basically, they were trying to these corrupted politicians before they were caught or while they were caught, they were trying to destroy the documents related to this shit. Basically, they're in absolute trouble.
Ng mga tauhan ng DPWH sa mga opisyal na dokumento kaugnay sa flood control project sa bansa. Nagbabalak si ICI Chairman Andres Reyes Jr. na public property ang mga opisyal na dokumento ng gobyerno. Sino mang magtatangkang sumira, mameke o magtago ng
The ICI, any attempt to destroy, falsify, or conceal them is a grave offense that carries both administrative and criminal liability. Basically, you get so much worse of a reputation hit and you get so much worse criminal charges from the state if you tamper with evidence. You tamper with evidence, it absolutely makes you absolutely guilty in the court of public opinion, especially if you get caught up in it. It would have been better if you cooperated because the jig was up. But no, you got caught destroying documents. What the hell? What the literal hell, dude? All these people who think they can get away with things, they're so stupid. Now that they're being probed like this, they're so stupid. Bro?
harap sa mga kasong administratibo at kriminal. Ang pahayag ng ICI ay matapos kumpirmahin ni DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon na may nakialam sa mga dokumento sa DPWH Baguio District. Sinuspindi na ni Dizon ang District Engineer ng Baguio City.
Yeah, District Engineer of Baguio City has been suspended because of this.
Wala pa siyang pahayag. Nakipagpulong naman sa ICI sina Senate President Tito Soto at Senate Blue Ribbon Committee Chairman Ping Lacson kahapon. Ayon kay Soto, tinanong sila tungkol sa mga isiningit na proyekto ng Kongreso sa 2025 budget. Hiningi rin daw ang minutes o yung dokumentasyon ng meeting ng small committee na bumuo sa 2025 budget. Nagsumiti naman si Lacson.
Basically, they were able to obtain the minutes of the meeting on the inserted budget details from the House of Representatives.
Ang ebidensyang nakalap niya tungkol sa maanumanyang flood control projects na kanya nang isiniwala.
It is absolutely getting really to the point that everyone's getting burned. All right. The next video that we're going to watch is titled 6 Senators, including 4 incumbents, may be involved in flood control mess. This is coming from the 1PH YouTube channel, and this video has garnered 60,000 views, published 5 days ago.
Sir, as far as testimonies and the documents go that Bryce is holding on to, how far up or how far down pa ang kanyang mai-implicate? Even if I suppose kasi you're not yet ready to give names, additional names. Pero for example, legislators, how many more are we talking about here that he can implicate or that he would implicate down the line?
Kung ako po yung tatanungin nyo, alam ko merong 6 na senador.
6 senators?
Sa mga dokumento
incumbent po yun. Incumbent by senator?
Meron pong 2 na hindi incumbent. Yung 2 po ex.
So
Ngayon, 2 congressmen naman po, at least from what I had been shown initially,
this is from Fortune. This has been stated by Fortune. Attorney Raymond Fortune, a lawyer for Bryce Hernandez, said at least 6 senators, including 4 incumbents, may be linked to the alleged budget insertions and flood control projects. Oh shit, dude.
The list can actually be longer because Bryce said that there are more inside that computer.
Oh my god, this is such a big mess, bro.
Well,
Bryce Hernandez is cooperating fully.
Lumabas na yung pangalan ni Minister ko, lumabas na yung pangalan ni Mitch Cahayon, meron pa pong mga iba. Meron pa po.
Mga ilang kaya? Mga ilang?
Si Felstar po lumabas na.
May isang dosena pa kaya? May isang dosena pa kaya, Congressman?
Yeah, exactly. Are there more than just a dozen individuals involved?
One district, no?
Yes, sir.
Bulacan district. So in other words, there is always, may nagtatanong sa akin, bakit wala si Cheese? And
Why is Cheese not involved? He only got involved sometime later.
my answer to that is, I'm almost sure, no, probably hindi ma-mention si Cheese simply because walang insertion doon. Si
Sa Bulacan.
Escudero, wala doon. Hindi ko sinasabi na wala siyang insertion somewhere else. No, pero ito, at least so far as Bulacan First District is concerned, ito lamang mga talagang involved. No, so merong initials lang kasi, no, yung initials doon sa na makikita mo talaga kung sino yung proponent, no. And up to now, I haven't really extracted from Bryce who are the personalities corresponding to the initials.
Wait, sorry. I want to be very clear about this. In the Senate, you said 6 more senators or 6 in total, including the ones already named?
The one I have seen po at 6. He has already mentioned Senator Joel,
Correct.
Senator Goy.
And
Yun lang. Oh, yun
Former
lang.
Senator Revilla. Well, sorry, that's from Henry Alcantara pala. Sino po pa
That's
yung under kay Senator under the Senate?
Yung meron pa pong isa, no? I am not at liberty to say. I should allow Bryce not to be the one to disclose.
Okay.
That makes sense, actually. Allow Bryce to disclose that, especially if it's put in a sworn statement, too. All right. Next video. The next video that we're watching comes from ANC 24/7. This video has garnered 110,000 views and it has been published 3 days ago. It's titled, Hindi Ko Kailangan. Representative Zaldico's ex-aide rejects Senate's protective custody. An ex-aide of Representative Zaldico has been offered protective custody by the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, and apparently he refused.
Bago magkakalimutan, Mr. Chair, I'm just concerned about the safety and security of this new witness.
He has been brought in as a witness on this one.
Si Master Sergeant Orly Gutesa. Matanong ko lang si Orly, may baril ka ba?
Yeah, good question. Considering that he is backstabbing Representative Zaldico on this one, that's a good question. Do you have a firearm on your person or in your possession, considering that there may be a chance that you are a target? That's a valid question.
Yes, Your Honor, may service firearms po.
Oh my God! It is so bad, bro!
Meron ka?
Yes, Your Honor.
May permit to carry yan?
Yes, Your Honor.
And it's a licensed one. Yes.
Interesado sa buhay mo?
Yes, Your Honor, at hindi ko na kailangan yung witness protection, Your Honor. Kaya kong sarili ko.
Oh, yan ang Marines.
Oh my God, bro. If he is gonna go down, he is gonna go down fighting. I admire this type of thing, but let's just be real. If you are going to say you don't need protective custody, let's just be real. You are putting yourself in greater risk. But I admire this guy. As long as he knows what he's doing. Hopefully. But I prefer that he does not move alone. While everything is being investigated like this, I prefer that he doesn't move alone.
Yan ang Marines.
Paano yung meron kami ritong motion sana na koberan ka ng protective custody ng Senate. Baka makatulong sa'yo. Okay lang ba o ayaw mo rin yun?
Ayaw ko rin, Your Honor, at ayaw ko nang maka-istorbo pa ng iba, Your Honor.
Marines!
Talagang kaya mong proteksyonan ng sarili mo?
Yes, Your Honor. At may mga tropa naman ako na kayang dumipisa sa akin, Your Honor.
Alam mo, Mr. Chair,
yes.
Yung branch of service ko talaga noon, hindi pa ako nakabunot ng Philippine Constabulary. Philippine Marines ako. Ganyan po katapang yung mga Marines.
Yeah, Senator Bato de la Rosa has been part of the Philippine Marines too before he joined the Philippine National Police. So Bato absolutely understands the ex-aide's position when it comes to this shit, dude. All right, fine. I definitely see this as legit.
Kaya
gusto mo pala pumunta ng Marines?
Kaso na pagbunot ko, Philippine Constabulary na bunot ko, kaya...
Oh, no! Never mind. Okay, never mind I said anything. But I will maintain it on the record that I thought that Bato was actually in the Marines, but he just got into the Philippine Constabulary. But let's just be real. The Philippine Constabulary is the harder, absolutely harder version of the Philippine National Police that was, at the time, was in charge of police law when it comes to law enforcing during the Marcos era. Okay? The Marcos Sr. era. So they were absolutely there. They were absolutely there during and before martial law. So yeah.
PC ako, naging PNP.
Ba't di mo sinuli, tapos bumunot ka uli?
Sabi nila, yan ang kapalaran mo, huwag mong baguhin.
So anyway, Mr. Orly Gutesa, ayaw mo magpa sa ilalim sa USA protective custody. Yes, Your Honor. Kaya mo na sarili ko, Your Honor. Okay. Well, with
Mr.
that,
Chairman,
go ahead.
with the, siguro, kung magbagong isip mo, please let us know right away. Dahil hindi mo alam, baka may mga developments pagkatapos ng hearing na ito. Basta we are ready to accept your protective custody, the Senate.
Right. Thank you, Senator Pangilinan. With that, I hereby suspend this public hearing. The committee will inform you on the next schedule.
Okay. That was a straight one. Basically, if you don't want protective custody and you think you can actually protect yourself just all the same, it's just that's respected. But hopefully, he doesn't get targeted, because holy shit, dude, holy shit! It is just a high stakes thing that's actually happening. The flood control projects really puts people in danger, really puts especially state witnesses in danger, bro. Next video that we're watching. Hold on. We just put it there first. The link. Okay. Now, Escudero, Binay, Romualdez. These three in particular have been linked to flood control scandal. And Hosaka, Hosaka, posts as an ICI executive. I think basically he joined the independent probe now. This is longer than 4 minutes. I want to make sure that you guys understand, because this is at least one of the acceptable videos that I put in. All right, this video comes from the Manila Bulletin. This has garnered 119,000 views, and this has been published 3 days ago. 6 minutes 27 seconds of video. Here we go.
Here's the top stories for September 25th. Former DPWH executive Bernardo names Escudero, Co, Revilla, and Binay in project kickback scheme. Zaldico's ex-security aide links Martin Romualdez in flood control anomalies. Hosaka assumes posts as ICI executive director.
Hosaka is part of the independent probe now, so basically, yeah.
Opong may continue to intensify as raising of signal number 4 possible.
By the way, this video has been published 3 days ago, so any news in relation to the tropical storm of Opong is already outdated. So disregard that already. The tropical storm had already passed us, so the conditions already here in the Philippines, it's already good. Thank goodness.
Bangkok road collapse creates a sinkhole disrupting traffic and prompting evacuation. Former Department of Public Works and Highways Undersecretary for Operations Roberto Bernardo dropped an explosive affidavit detailing the systemic corruption in various projects and naming several legislators, department officials, and political personalities allegedly involved in the kickback scheme. Bernardo disclosed this during the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee hearing. He stated that he retired from the DPWH in August 2025 after a 40-year career, executing an affidavit as part of his bid to be placed under the government's Witness Protection Program. He said his testimony comes at great risk to his safety and that of his family. In his affidavit, Bernardo traced his rise from laborer in 1985 to undersecretary in 2017, eventually retiring just last month. He said that since receiving the Senate invitation, he had been collating all written communications, documents, tables, and matrices, and lists in my possession to aid the probe. Bernardo recounted conversations linking Ako Bicol party list representative Zaldi Co to a 25% commission demand.
Okay. Give me a moment. I just got to make sure that things are looking okay first before we proceed. Hold on. I'm just reviewing one of the videos that I just rendered, so yeah. Okay, I think everything that I needed to actually do was actually there. Thank God CapCut exists. Let's continue.
The affidavit also implicated Senator Francis Chiz Escudero through businessman and campaign contributor Maynard Ngu. Bernardo said that he and Ngu were close friends, and they go years back. Bernardo said he personally met then-Senator Ramon Bong Revilla in 2024, where Revilla sought a 25% cut of project funds.
25% cut, bro.
Villa, a staff and trusted confidant of former Senator, now Makati Mayor Nancy Binay, called Bernardo and
Nancy Binay, by the way. That's the pronunciation. Nancy Binay, basically.
asked him for a commitment, which was set at 15% of the total amount of the projects. A former security consultant of Ako Bicol party list representative Zaldi Co has named former House Speaker Martin Romualdez as one of the lawmakers whom he said is allegedly involved in the anomalous flood control project scandal. Orly Gutesa, Co's security aide, said that as part of his job, he was assigned to carry and deliver luggages to certain locations, starting when he was hired by the congressman in December 5th, 2024. Guteza, a former soldier, said he used to report at the 56th floor of the Horizon Residences in Bonifacio Global City, where Co was living. A member of the Philippine Marines, Guteza first apologized to his colleagues in the military during his testimony and said that he only
Oh boy. Yep, this is the aide, and this is the aide himself, so yeah. Josue. Hold on.
wanted to disclose whatever information he has for the future of the country. According to Guteza,
Basically, he's a former security consultant. He flipped, and he became cooperative with the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee. At least, this is the guy. This is the guy who I believe is the. Yeah, that's right. That's right. This is the one. I thought that he was. Okay, yeah, this is the same one. This is the ex-aide of Representative Zaldico. Okay, got it.
he knew he was delivering luggages containing garbage, a term he coined for the piles of money he was carrying as part of his duty, which approximately amounts to more or less 48 million pesos each. Certain individuals, he said, are expected to deliver suitcases containing money during garbage duty. This, in turn, will be received by a certain John Paul Estrada and Mark Texe, Co's executive assistant.
Yep.
Both are assigned to count the money. Newly appointed Independent Commission for Infrastructure Executive Director Brian Keith F. Hosaka.
Brian Keith Hosaka. That's the full name. Okay, then. Full name of the new ICI Executive Director.
Assumed his new post after taking his oath of office on Thursday, September 25th, before Supreme Court Associate Justice Jose Maidas P. Marquez. Under the appointment issued by President Marcos last Wednesday, September 24th, lawyer Hosaka will manage the day-to-day operations of the ICI with the rank of Undersecretary.
Undersecretary. Oh.
The ICI was created under Executive Order Number 94. The Commission has started its mandate as a fact-finding body to investigate corruption and irregularities in flood control and other public works projects.
Okay.
Before his ICI appointment, Hosaka was SC spokesperson and later as Commissioner of the Governance Commission for Government-Owned and Controlled Corporations under the Marcos administration.
Okay.
Severe tropical storm Opong may continue to intensify over the Philippine Sea and possibly reach typhoon strength.
I'm going to skip this one particularly.
In Bangkok.
Okay, hold on.
A part of a road in Bangkok collapsed Wednesday, leaving a large sinkhole.
Bangkok. And it made a fucking sinkhole. Oh my god.
That disrupted.
Oh my god, guys. Holy shit, dude. This is something I don't see every day. Thailand?
Traffic, damaged infrastructure, and prompted evacuations in the surrounding area. There were no casualties, but 3 vehicles were damaged by the collapse in Thailand's capital, Bangkok City Governor Chadchart Sitaput said, adding that officials believe the collapse was caused by construction work at an underground train station. People were evacuated from the police station and other buildings. A nearby hospital said it would close the outpatient services for 2 days, although Bangkok City officials said the hospital's structure was not affected.
Bro.
Officials cut electricity and water in the area as a precaution. Chadchart said crews were working to fix the hole as quickly as possible, fearing heavy rain could cause further damage. Bangkok is experiencing its rainy season, which typically extends from May through October. Stay updated with the latest news. Visit our website at
I don't know. Anyway, I think, okay, sure. Wow. That thing that happened in Bangkok, Thailand, I did not expect that. Holy shit, dude. I did not expect that. Dude. Oh, man. All right, the next video that we're watching is titled Secretary Vince Dizon napamura sa nadiskubreng ghost flood control project. He cursed on camera, basically. This video comes from News 5 Everywhere. This garnered 21,000 views and was published 3 days ago. So yeah.
Here's the top stories for September.
Actually, that's not the one. Okay, got it. Sorry.
Napamura si DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon sa nabistong panibagong Ghost Flood Control Project sa Jose Abad Santos, Davao Occidental.
Hindi ka na naawa dun sa mga estudyante dyan, saka yung mga tao dito?
Yeah, he's asking the right questions. There are ghost flood control projects, and he is scolding district engineers and officials while he was out in the field. Have you? These are the questions he's asking. Do you not see that there are nearby schools here and flood-prone areas here, and that these flood control projects don't even exist to even control the floods? That actually makes sense. These flood control projects should not have been marked as complete if there's no flood control infrastructure to begin with. If there's no flood control infrastructure to begin with, do not mark those as complete. They're definitely going to end you. If you're even a part of the flood control project at all, if there's no progress to begin with. There could be lack of progress, but at least it's something. But the problem is, if there's really absolutely none to begin with, you're not doing yourself a favor as being a part of the project at all.
Hindi mo ba siya iniisip? Iisip po. Kasi putang bakit ka nagbayad ng hindi complete?
Sermon ang inabot ng district engineer ng proyekto mula sa kalihim. Fully paid na ang higit 96 million pesos na budget para sa naturang
96 million pesos. And nothing was done. Okay? 96 million pesos. Okay? 96 million pesos. And I'm saying it here. Don't mind the watch later. That's not exactly watch later. At least it's there. Look at this. Look at this. You would think that this would actually that this would be a flood control project, but it's not even finished. It's fully paid, but yeah.
Iginawad ito sa St. Timothy Construction Incorporated na pagmamayari ng mga diskaya. 2022 pa dapat natapos ang project, pero ayon sa ilang residente, nitong nakarang 3 linggo lang ito sinimula.
Galit ako kanina eh. Pasensya na sa inyo kung narinig niyo siguro ako nagmurang doon kanina kasi sino ba naman ang hindi magagalit? 100 million pesos tapos wala, nothing. So hindi pa pwede ito. Kung sino man ang pumirma doon sa mga papeles na yon.
Whoever signed those papers approved of them, and then just the fund's gone. The project's unfinished. And nothing was done. This is embarrassing to the point that it will end your career as soon as all the bullshit right here is discovered. It ends your career abruptly and you will be jailed.
Na nag-authorize ng payment, kulong lahat yun.
Mga kapatid, Julius Babaw po. Para sa komprehensibo at makabuluhang palitaan at talakayan, mag-follow at mag-subscribe na sa social media pages ng News 5.
News 5 is also something as well. Besides ABS-CBN News, which I subscribe to, because it's really coming up okay. News 5 is another good outlet, so I subscribe to them too. So, next video that we're going to be watching, and yeah, Escudero linked to 160 million peso kickback. This video comes from the Manila Times. It garnered 60,000 views because it's a big deal. Cheese Escudero is no longer Senate president, but he is implicated now on the flood control scandals. This video was published 3 days ago.
In the same sworn affidavit, Bernardo also claimed that he delivered around 160 million pesos to a close associate of Senator Cheese Escudero. He says this is 20% of approximately 800 million pesos in projects.
Oh, yeah.
That the funds were meant for Escudero after the project lists he provided were incorporated into the national budget.
There it is. This links Cheese Escudero. This links Cheese Escudero right into the flood control mess. This is embarrassing. This is absolutely embarrassing. Next video I'm watching, flood control and that you guys are listening to, flood control project in Davao Occidental. Okay? Sa Davao, okay. Localized language first. Flood control project sa Davao Occidental in the nakdarang crime scene ni ICI Special Advisor Magalong. The flood control project at that place, Davao Occidental, it was declared a crime scene by ICI Special Advisor Magalong himself. This comes from UNTV News and Rescue, and this video has garnered 12,000 views, even if it was published 3 days ago.
Idineklara ni Independent Commission for Infrastructure o ICI Special Advisor Benji Magalong na isang crime scene ang 96.5 million pesos flood control project sa Jose Abad Santos, Davao Occidental matapos matuklasang ghost project ito. Batay sa record, kumpleto at fully paid na ang proyekto noon pang 2022. Ngunit sa inspeksyon kanina, lumabas na 3 linggo pa lamang nagsisimula ang konstruksyon nito. Kasunod nito, agad ipinahinto ni Magalong ang lahat ng aktibidad sa lugar at mahigpit na ipinagbawal ang anumang pag-aayos o pagpasok sa site. Nagbabala naman si DP.
Basically, when everyone is getting caught, every one of these ghost flood control projects had only started to get patched up. Basically, they got caught, and this became a crime scene. This is so bad, bro.
WH Secretary Vince Dizon nahahabulin ng ICI ang lahat ng sangkot sa mga katulad na anomalya.
This is so bad, bro. Everyone's getting hit left and right, and they're trying to contain shit by actually patching over all of it, bro. It is so bad, bro. Oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. This is so bad. I'm just putting more links onto my thing. Hold on. I got 5 right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna go put another one just to make sure. Just to make sure that the queue is a little longer so that I don't have to do things like this. Alright. Next one we have on our list is titled Makati Mayor Denies Link to Flood Control Kickbacks. This comes from the Manila Times, and this video had garnered 46,000 views even if it was published 3 days ago.
Makati City Mayor Nancy Binay also denied allegations linking her to irregularities in flood control project. She called the accusations.
Nagugulat at nalulungkot ako na dinadamay ako sa mga anomalya sa DPWH. I mean, Makati also has its own problems too, okay?
And misleading. Binay says it is easy to spread false and malicious statements. She added that her performance in public service has always been above board.
Basically, yeah. She's being put in the pan as well. The fire is big and huge. Great. Next video is DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon binira ang flood control project sa Maynila. What? No. This comes from PRTV Prime Media Philippines. This only garnered 153 views. Published 3 days ago. What do you mean? Binira? Hold on. I wonder what this is about.
Hindi gumagana eh. So ano ibig sabihin? 2018 pa.
Isang flood control project sa Maynila na tukas ang palpak at di mapakinabangan matapos ang inspection ni Secretary Dizon at ICI. Basically, yeah.
Walang kwentang proyekto. Ganyan itinuring ni DPWH.
Binira ang flood control project. Oh, he was able to get to a flood control project, supposedly a flood control project in Manila. Got it.
Secretary Vince Dizon ang isa sa mga pumping stations sa Maynila.
A pumping station that is supposed to be work. Oh no, that is supposed to be oh boy, that's not good.
Nasunog Apo Pumping Station. In-inspection na ito kasama sina ICI Special Advisor Benjamin Magalong, pati na rin si Manila Mayor Isko Moreno. Ang pondo sa proyektong ito, nasa 774 million pesos.
774 million to make sure that this pumping station goes up and running. And oh my God, bro, are you shitting me? It's supposed to be a working piece of infrastructure that is supposed to do. Oh my God. This is not a wall. It is not a retaining wall. It is supposed to keep floodwaters out, right? This is not a wall. This is supposed to be working, supposed to be functioning. Oh boy.
Pero tila naging display lang ang pumping station dahil hindi ito gumagana simula pa noong 2020 nang matapos ang proyekto.
So, it was marked as completed in 2020. Marked as complete. But what happened? It was during the COVID crisis too that it was completed. That it was marked as completed. Are you shitting me, dude?
Halos 1 bilyon. Ngayon, nakita tayong karatula doon. Meron na namang idadagdag na 94 million, 100 million na naman. Ako hindi ako naniniwala pag natapos siyang 100 million na yan, gagamit. So, talagang and very similar ito dun sa nakita namin ni Sir Benji kahapon, ni Mayor Benji kahapon sa Pampanga. Yun din, 2018, nagsimula. Pinondohan, ilang phases, siguro mga 6 na phases. Pero, 1 taon lang,
oh my God, bro. After completion, a year later, that one in Pampanga is already damaged beyond repair. No way.
Madalas, lumulubog ang Maynila kapag tuloy-tuloy ang malalakas na ulan sa Metro Manila. Apektado dyan ang libo-libong residente na malapit sa mga ilog at creek.
Exactly.
Sana ang pumping
The pumping station is supposed to remove floodwaters from certain areas that are flood prone, especially if they're close to bodies of water. But if pumping stations like the one that we're hearing right now in Manila are not even remotely working at all, then no wonder there are floods. No wonder there are floods in that area.
Pero kabaliktaran umano ang nagiging dulot nito sa syudad.
Ang pinakamasama doon, and allow me, imbes na makatulong ito, nakasama pa. Kasi nung wala ito, mababa lang ang tubig dito. Nung ginagain nila to, at obviously hindi gumagana since matapos to, since mapondoan nung 2017, 2018,
Basically, Duterte, for the entirety of the Duterte administration, when he was only concerned with making sure that that drugs are cleared from society, he never once pivoted to other programs in the Philippines like flood control, considering that there were monsoons happening. Okay, this is why this is what still gets me to believe that Duterte should not have been put into office. This should not have happened like this.
Gumrabi yung baha dito.
Sabi pa ni Dizon, napansin nila sa mga inspeksyon ng flood control projects ang pangit na sistemang ito kung saan tuloy-tuloy ang pagpopondo taon-taon sa mga proyekto na hindi naman gumagana at palpak. Kabilang naman yan sa imbestigahan ngayon ng Independent Commission for Infrastructure, lalo pat nagiging normal na daw ito.
Walang magasakit eh. Yun ang problema. Tingin ko. Walang magasakit. Gagawa ng proyekto, baliwala na hindi gumagana o substandard o minsan ghost yung proyekto. Kahit na magsasuffer yung community.
Nabunyag rin sa inspeksyon na walang kuryente ang pumping station. Ibig sabihin niyan, wala ring building permit at koordinasyon sa local government unit.
Yep, that's another project that doesn't have a permission from its local government. Oh my God.
Ang pagpapatayo nito, magkakaroon ngayon ng third-party assessment para sa proyekto at aalamin ko ano ang dapat gawin at mapakinabangan ito. Sa kabila niyan, tiniyak naman ng ICI na mananagot ang nasa likod ng palpak na pumping station. Ako si JM Pineda ng PR.
Yeah. Everyone who got involved with the pumping station from the beginning and never even went to the lengths of maintaining it. For the meantime, they're sacked. They're sacked at that point. They're probably sacked at that point, for Pete's sake. Everyone who's ever worked at the pumping station and never went back to even get it maintained at all, they're sacked. Oh my God, bro. It's unforgivable that these shits are here, dude. Unforgivable, bro. This is so bad, bro. Next video that we have here, it comes from UNTV News and Rescue, and this has garnered 7,000 views, even if it was published 3 days ago. Multiple personalities who were a part or involved with the flood control scams, they have denied the allegations placed against them.
I delivered 20% of approximately 800 million or about 160 million to Maynard Ngu, which was meant for Senator Escudero. Deliveries of cash were personally made by me to Maynard Ngu at his office in Manila. Engineer Alcantara collected the 25% commitment or about 125 million, which was turned over to me and then delivered to Senator Revilla in his house in Cavite.
Basically, Bernardo is speaking when it comes to delivering the money. So Alcantara basically had the drivers deliver the money, and this was under orders of Roberto Bernardo himself, who is now cooperating with the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee. This in regards to the investigations that are ongoing now.
To Engineer Alcantara. Engineer Alcantara collected 15% commitment or about 37 million, which was turned over to me and which I then delivered to Senator Binay at a house in Quezon City.
Sa pagharap kanina ni former Department of Public Works and Highways Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo sa pagdinig ng Senate Blue Ribbon Committee kaugnay ng mga anomalya sa flood control project sa bansa, ilang pang personalidad ang binanggit niya na nakatanggap umano ng komisyon o kickbacks mula sa listahan ng mga proyekto na ipinasok sa General Appropriations Act. Kabilang dito sina Senador Francis Chis Escudero, mga dating Senador Ramon Bong Revilla Jr. at Nancy Binay. Gayun din si Ako Bicol Party List Representative Saldico at Department of Education Undersecretary Trive Olivar. Mabilis namang itinanggi ng mga nasabing personalidad ang akusasyon sa kanila.
Yeah, of course they're going to keep denying these charges, these allegations that are being placed against them. But the more people are trying to investigate this, the more dirty laundry surfaces. Okay?
Senate President Francis Chis Escudero, isa itong planadong hakbang upang sirain ang Senado at ilihis ang atensyon ng publiko. Giit niya, wala siyang direktang pakikipag-ugnayan kay Bernardo at magsasampa siya ng reklamo laban dito. Sa isang Facebook post naman, nagpahayag si dating senador at ngayon ay Makati City Mayor Nancy Binay ng pagkabigla at kalungkutan sa pagkakadamay niya sa...
Oh, you are sad that the truth is being blurred out because you are actually involved. There are reasons that you are involved, and have you not even addressed the supposed data and evidence that is being told against you? Try to point out by bullet points why you think you are absolutely innocent of all this. Do it by the bullet point. Do it by addressing the data and the evidence pointed against you on these allegations. Why don't you do that, Nancy Binay? You are sad that... Shut the fuck up.
anomalya sa DPWH. Ayon sa dating senadora, walang katotohanan ang mga paratang at naninindigan siyang malinis ang kanyang track record sa serbisyo publiko. Pinabulaanan din ni DepEd Undersecretary Trivo Laivara ang pagkakadawit sa issue at iginiit na hindi siya sangkot sa anumang irregularidad.
Great. Even an undersecretary of Department of Education. Oh my goodness.
Bukod sa pagtanggi, pansamantala umano siyang magli-leave upang bigyan daan ng investigasyon at tiniyak.
And of course, you will go on leave of absence just because of this. Red flags, bro.
Nakipagtulungan siya sa anumang proseso. Si Bernardo na una ring sinampahan ng reklamo ng National Bureau of Investigation dahil sa issue ng ghost projects ay nag-apply sa Witness Protection Program.
And Bernardo has gotten himself into the witness protection by the Department of Justice. All right. Looks like they're fully cooperating now.
At sumailalim sa pagsusuri ng Department of Justice para sa kredibilidad ng kanyang mga pahayag. Samantala lumutang naman sa sinumpaang salaysay ng dating aide ni Ako Bicol Party List Representative Saldico na si Orly Regala Gutesa ang pangalan ni Benguet Representative Eric Yap. Ayon kay Gutesa, personal niyang nakita ang pagpapadaan ng malalaki.
Eric Yap himself, huh?
Na umano'y bahagi ng kickbacks at ilan dito ay idinirekta sa bahay ni Yap. Mariin naman itong itinanggi ni Yap at sinabi
Even Eric Yap of Benguet has denied this. Basically, money was also given to him. Holy shit, dude. And he denies it on a post, on a public post. This is disgusting, bro.
Giit niya, wala siyang tinanggap na pera at handa siyang humarap sa tamang forum para linisin ang kanyang pangalan. Nel Maribuko, News and Rescue, Diyos ang aming sandigan, serbisyo publiko ang aming
Oh my God, this is such a big mess. This is an absolute big mess. Thank you very much, UNTV News and Rescue. All right, the next video that we have, it's a real mess. It's a real mess, especially when we get to just more hearings now. Next video comes from Net25 News and Information, and this video was published 3 days ago, and it garnered 14,000 views. Local language, the title of it in local language, sa pagdinig ng sa Senado, umalma. Those who were named in the hearings in the Senate, they are white. They're probably saying, wait, why am I in this list? Why am I in this list? Unfortunately, you got linked because of documents, you got linked because of witness testimony, you got linked because transactions catch you in the act. Of course, you're part of it.
Bumuelta na ang mga senador na idinawit sa mga anomalyang infra at flood control projects ng DPWH. Kumbinsido po si Senador Cheese Escudero na pinagplanuhan po itong nasabing hakbang para sirain ang Senado.
Oh, screw you.
Sa kontrobersiya. Mian Corbera sa balitang niya.
You only turned over the Senate presidency seat because you are involved.
Mga tumatanggap ng komisyon sa mga
You tried to get away from it, but no.
Bakit tila nililihis na sa mga senador ang akusasyon at wala nang kinalaman ang tunay na may kasalanan? Kung pagbabatayan anyang testimonya ni dating DPWH Yusek Roberto Bernardo, lumalabas na walang kasalanan at walang kinalaman sa issue ng ghost flood control projects sina Congressman Saldico at dating House Speaker Martin Romualdez. Tila may well-orchestrated plan anya para
Oh my God, hold on. What is Cheese Escudero's statement? Puro talaga senator ang tinuturo. Here's the thing. Jingo Estrada is part of it too. You are part of it. Lawmakers are part of it. So it's not just you, Mr. Escudero. Estrada as well. Okay? Bong Revilla as well. Oh my God. This is why I love it when there are politicians who try to defend themselves and they don't defend their other colleagues who get implicated on this. You are immediately selfish of this. Why is my name in this? That's an immediate red flag in your statement, bro. Okay. So, you're always going to point towards senators? Where's Saldico, who was also a lawmaker? Where is Representative Martin Romualdez in all of this? There's also a lawmaker. Where are the rest of his cronies? If you're only going to base this on from the testimony of Undersecretary Bernard, all of them do not have any involvement in all of this. Basically, Cheese said all of this evidence is hearsay and it cannot be trusted.
House Speaker Martin Romualdez. Tila may well-orchestrated plan anya para sira.
Sobra naman ng paglilihis at paglayo nila sa tunay na salarin ang saswerang ito. Basically, what Cheese Escudero is saying, putting Zaldico and Romualdez himself, Martin Romualdez himself, is a distraction.
ng Senado at mga miyembro nito.
But at the same time, your name and Jinggoy Estrada's name being out there is not a coincidence, Cheese. Learn to look into the eyes of one who is looking more and more into all of this in the objective light. You're not looking at things at the objective light. You are being absolutely greedy, and you are absolutely being selfish here.
At ilayo ang tunay na mga salarin sa tinawag niyang sarswela. Naghahanda na ng kaso si Escudero laban kay Bernardo. Iginit ng senador na wala siyang direkta.
Of course, he's going to pursue charges against the witness who actually put his name in. Of course, Cheese. Of course, he can do that, Cheese.
Walang basihan ang kanyang mga paratang. Pinabulaanan din ni dating senator at Makati Mayor Nancy Binay ang paratang ni Bernardo. Sabi ni Binay, nakakalungkot na nagagamit siya para ilihis sa mga tunay na dapat managot sa issue.
Nancy Binay herself too.
Para ilihis ang issue pero makikita naman ang kanyang maayos na performance sa public service. Si dating Senator Bong Revilla tinawag namang baseless ang mga akusasyon laban sa kanya. Sinagot din ito ang mga lumabas na picture kung saan kasama niya ang mga diskaya at district engineer ng Bulacan. Bilang dating mambabata sa chairman ng DPWH Committee, normal anya na magpakuha ng larawan sa kanya. May Corvera para sa mata ng Agila. Matatag, matapang.
You know, there is a reason Bong Revilla is the most suspicious because he came from entertainment. Okay? He came from TV and entertainment. It's just absolutely suspicious that there is a lifestyle still there, even when you're in public office. There is no excessive lifestyle that should be seen on you if you are in public service. Otherwise, it will always be assumed that you would be taking things in excess. Okay? This is why I don't believe that personalities should be in public office. Personalities who were in the entertainment industry should never be in public service because their personal biases that absolutely take them into a point in which the spotlight would always be in their acting reputation. Basically, there would be a clear bias that would make them defend their lifestyle and defend their reputation only. And that's it. It's really sad that we still vote in personalities. We still vote in personalities in public office just because we see them as trusted. We see them as trusted individuals without doing our rigorous research here. Basically, what we got to do is do rigorous research because this keeps happening to us. This keeps happening to Filipinos. This really just keeps happening to Filipinos. Really. Next video that we're going to be watching comes from the Manila Times, but yeah, this comes from the Manila Times, published 3 days ago. This has been viewed, and this garnered views of 3,700. This is titled, Benguet Representative Denies Receiving Money in Connection with Flood Control Projects. Who is that Benguet representative? Eric Yap him.
Reacting to Gutierrez's testimony, Benguet Representative Eric Yap denied the allegation made against him. Yap says he never accepted nor authorized the delivery of money in connection with flood control projects.
Oh, really?
Romualdez have yet to comment on the allegation.
Dude, this is really absolutely sad. This is just absolutely sad that he would actually get become part of this shit, dude. Dude. The next, ex-DPWH executive reveals meetings with Escudero. This video comes from Inquirer.net, garnered 121,000 views, published 3 days ago.
On paragraph 17 of my aforesaid affidavit, I mentioned that Maynard Ngu and I are close friends and that he was also a close friend and campaign contributor of Senator Chis Escudero. To add, while I was attending the confirmation hearing of Secretary Bunoan sometime in August 2022, I was summoned by Senator Chis to his room. When I got there, he told me, hindi na ako bababa sa CA. Marami pa akong kulang na streetlight sa Sorsogon. Ano ba magagawa nyo para sa akin? I replied, kakausapin ko po si Sec Bunoan kung paano ang gagawin. I relayed to Secretary Bunoan what Senator Chis told me. Subsequently, I received from the brother-in-law of Senator Chis Escudero a list of projects which included the aforesaid streetlights project. He asked me to confirm if that streetlights project was the one for Senator Chis, which I did. Sometime in 2023, Maynard Ngu told me to go to Cork and meet Senator Chis Escudero, which I did. I met with the latter in a private room, in the said establishment. While we were drinking wine, he told me, alam ko naman ang galawan niyo dyan sa DPWH. Okay naman ako. Sabihin mo kay Sec magbabasa. Also, the delivery of the 160 million for Senator Cheese referred to in paragraph 17 of my affidavit happened sometime in the first quarter of 2025. Around July 2025, I had a chance encounter with Senator Cheese and Maynard Ngu at the court. Senator Cheese Escudero approached me, shook my hand, and said to me, thank you. I reserve the right to submit such further statements as may be warranted. I attest to the truth of the foregoing statements based on my personal knowledge and authentic record.
Basically, yeah. He is fully cooperating, and he's fully being made aware that if he's a witness against Cheese Escudero, he's effectively cut his ties from Cheese Escudero. Oh boy. That's not going to have a profound effects on your safety and security, huh? 3, 4, 5. Hold on. We're going to continue when it comes to our video reaction. Let's go for the next video. And this comes from PTV Philippines. This has garnered 690 views, even if it was published 3 days ago. Not too many views at the moment. But basically, it's titled, MMDA allocates 2.5 billion pesos for 2026 flood control project. Even if Marcos Jr. made it absolutely clear that he will not do it himself, why MMDA? What's up with them?
Even as the department.
MMDA means Metro Manila Development Authority. Basically, okay, but why? What is going on?
The Public Works and Highways finds itself out in the cold in next year's proposed national budget for flood control. Another agency is stepping up to the plate. As questions continue to flood in over the integrity and implementation of these projects, the MMDA reveals its own allocation to keep Metro Manila above water, all while Congress joins forces with investigators to get to the bottom of alleged corruption.
Well, there are spots in Metro Manila that are so flood prone that people start to lose their trust on the Department of Public Works and Highways because of this entire thing. It makes sense that another agency that has interest in making sure the flood control project that can be maintained and can be constructed would have to be constructed to make sure that these flood-prone areas are at least protected from massive floods. So yeah, the Metro Manila Development Authority, I think, is doing a good job considering that they make these happen. Hopefully, something really does come out of this. The Metro Manila Development Authority. Hopefully.
Here's the full report from our Mela Lismor.
Although the funds for DPWH flood control projects were removed under the proposed 2026 national budget.
Oh, the 2026 national budget is nationwide, but MMDA is going to focus on Metro Manila only. That's why the agency is called Metro Manila Development Authority, because they're only going to focus on Metro Manila. But really, 2.5 billion total for those? Okay.
The MMDA confirmed that they have a separate allocation for this, which can be used in Metro Manila. During today's House plenary deliberations, the MMDA shared that out of their proposed 5.8 billion peso budget for next year, more than 2.5 billion pesos is allocated for flood control programs. According to House Committee on Appropriations Vice Chair Monique Lagdameo, the agency's budget sponsor, the funds will be used for the repair and maintenance of pumping stations and drainage systems.
This is a good plan. The pumping stations themselves are there are numerous pumping stations around in Metro Manila. There are failed pumping stations that did not work, especially I think the ones that Yorme has, especially. If the Metro Manila Development Authority can take over for the DPWH pumping station that has failed to work since 2020, I think that's a big plus. That's actually a big plus.
In different parts of the National Capital Region or NCR.
To name a few, it's actually in our general appropriation.
You're hearing the voice of Representative Monique Lagdameo, Vice Chair of the House Committee on Appropriations.
It's improvement of drainage system along barangays in different cities in Metro Manila, along Barangay 90 and vicinity in Tondo. Meron din po tayong drainage improvement along Felix Huerta Street and vicinity in Santa Cruz. Merong improvement of Estero de Santibanez in District 6 Manila. Meron din po tayong similar projects in other cities and municipalities.
With consecutive calamities hitting NCR, some lawmakers also scrutinize the MMDA measures to improve waterways in the region.
How can the MMDA credibly claim that the waterways have been declogged and desilted 100%? Samantalang, alam po natin, kaya nga po, kahit konting ulan na lang,
bumabaha na. Yeah, exactly. The flood control projects are supposed to make sure that floods are prevented, especially if there are very, very strong rain. But lately, because of these strong rains, even the accumulation of flood water takes an hour. It's already way too much flood. Exactly. That's actually a valid inquiry. That's actually a valid inquiry.
Alam naman natin yan, tumataas na ang tubig. One major factor there is that the waterways are clogged and still heavily silted.
Exactly. Which is why smaller agencies like the MMDA need to make sure to clear up the clogs.
Mr. Speaker, number one, it was a target. It was a target of 100%. Secondly, sa araw-araw, syempre po yung basura po, bumabalik po yan dyan sa ating waterways, which is why it is a continuous cleanup ang ginagawa po and monitoring.
At present, the House leadership is also cooperating with the Independent Commission for Infrastructure, or
All right, good.
ICI, in its investigation into alleged anomalous flood control projects in the country. Last night, House Speaker Faustino Boji D. III formally turned over to ICI officials the documents and evidence gathered by the House Infrastructure Committee regarding the issue. Infracom co-chair Terry Ridon had earlier confirmed that they suspended their own hearings on flood control projects to give way to the full and impartial proceedings of the ICI. Meanwhile, House Committee on Public Order and Safety Chair Rolando Valeriano stressed that those involved in the issue must be held accountable. Melalis Moras from the National TV Network for a new and better Philippines.
Let me just tell you guys, the more I hear about these things, the more I am convinced that we need only smaller agencies to deal with sector by sector developments and maintenance. MMDA is really stepping up okay here. I think it's good. The less of a size of an agency, however, with more resources, the better the actual services will be. Honestly, I think that's a better thing to do. That's a better thing to have at all. So, big plus if MMDA actually succeeds in making sure that Metro Manila is covered good when it comes to getting the budget used entirely without significant cuts that limit its potential. I am going to continue doing this, but I will continue doing these reactions, but in a much later time. All right? Going to take a breather for the meantime. For now.